The hunter who was followed by a deer. Most hunters who visit the forest only talk about the animals after they leave. They never talk about what happens while they're still inside it. The story was first shared on a small hunting forum by a man named Caleb Rowe. He had been hunting for nearly 20 years, mostly elk and deer across several states, and according to him, the forest everyone talks about was supposed to be the best hunting ground he had ever visited. He drove 12 hours to reach it, and at first, it lived up to its reputation. Animals were everywhere. Deer crossing trails, elk in the distance, birds constantly moving through the trees. The place felt alive. Almost too alive. Caleb set up camp near a clearing and started hunting the next morning. Not even an hour into the first day, he spotted a large buck standing between two pine trees about 60 yards away. It wasn't moving. At first he thought it simply hadn't noticed him yet. He raised his rifle slowly, careful not to make noise. The deer looked directly at him. Hunters know that moment. When an animal finally notices you, there's usually a reaction. Panic, confusion, a sudden bolt into the woods. This deer didn't run. It simply stared. Caleb lowered the rifle slightly. Something about the way the animal was standing bothered him. The deer wasn't grazing or twitching its ears. It wasn't sniffing the air. It was just watching him. Minutes passed. The deer didn't blink. Caleb later said the strangest part was the way it held its head. Perfectly still, almost like a statue someone had placed in the woods. Eventually, he assumed the deer had simply frozen in place out of caution. It happened sometimes. So he tried again. He lifted the rifle. The deer immediately took one step forward. Not a jump, not a nervous movement, just one careful step. Then it stopped again, still staring. Caleb lowered the rifle. The deer took another step forward. This happened 3 more times. Every time he aimed the rifle, the deer moved closer. Every time he lowered it, the deer stopped. By the time Caleb realized what was happening, the animal had closed half the distance between them. That was when the unease set in. He described the feeling as suddenly realizing someone had been standing behind you the entire time. He stopped hunting for the day and walked back toward camp. The deer didn't follow. At least, not right away. About 15 minutes into the hike back, Caleb heard something behind him. Footsteps. Slow ones. Crunching leaves. He turned. The deer stood on the trail about 30 yards back, just watching. Caleb waved his arms and shouted. The deer didn't react. It simply continued walking forward, slowly, step by step. He moved off the trail. The deer moved off the trail. He walked faster. The deer walked faster. It never charged, never panicked, never made a sound. It simply matched his pace. Caleb said what bothered him most was the way the deer kept its head pointed directly at him the entire time, even when walking through trees. Almost like its body knew how to navigate the forest without needing to look. After about 10 minutes of this, Caleb reached his truck. He climbed inside quickly and shut the door. The deer stopped about 20 feet away. And then something happened that Caleb insisted he had never seen before in his life. The deer sat down. Not like a deer normally rests. It folded its legs slowly beneath itself, the way a dog might sit beside its owner. Then it simply watched the truck. Caleb started the engine and left. But before the forest road curved out of view, he looked back once through the rear window. The deer was still sitting there, still watching. The last thing Caleb wrote in his forum post was the part that convinced many hunters never to return to that forest again. The next morning, when he checked the trail camera he had left near his camp, There was only one photo taken during the entire night. The image showed the deer standing directly in front of the camera. But the strange part wasn't the animal. It was the position of its body. The deer was facing the camera, but its head was turned slightly to the side, looking at something standing next to it. The camera had captured nothing else, just empty darkness beside the deer, and the deer staring at it.